All right, so we're gonna post this one to YouTube. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk more. All day we've been talking about the Earthen Bulwark and the bug that's on it, but we're gonna show some footage that just shows what it's doing. Innate Earthen Bulwark is the issue here. This is the problem that we're talking about. This thing scales with, I've been saying all day the wrong thing. I've been saying monster HP. It doesn't scale with monster HP. It scales with monster level, which is actually worse because it means that you can do insane amounts of damage on white mobs as well as like rares and bosses. So it just blows up everything. The higher the enemy level, the more damage you do. And we've also shown this. I've done it myself. I just popped this in here. Went from like tier 60 Nightmare Dungeon doing like 4 or 5 million with it to I think I did like 70 something million or some shit. I can't remember what we did. We did tens of millions of damage just with Bulwark, or mostly just with Bulwark at tier 100. This is without scaling it at all. No scaling whatsoever. Like as in I'm not scaling for it. My build has scaling that's certainly helping it out, but I'm not like building into it. I just turned it on. That's all I did. I just flipped it from one to the other, flipped it from this one to this one to this one, and watched it do big damage, just crazy amounts of damage that I could not do without it. Not possible. So we're just gonna watch a quick video on this that Boiler sent me to give you an example. Wait, is this the right one? This is the wrong video, isn't it? Yeah, we've got this one. Here we go. Sorry, to give you an example of like what it kind of can do. The kind of damage this thing does. So we're starting from here. And this is a tier 100. This is actually pre-nerf tier 100. So this is before the Nightmare Dungeons got nerfed hard. And like you're seeing 52 million. This is not going to do this at tier 50. That's the thing that people need to understand about it and why it's bugged. Is at tier 50, you won't do this kind of damage. Because it's based upon enemy level. And these are level 154. So this is actually where you're going to do the most damage. You're going to do the most damage in a tier 100 because that's the highest level enemies. There's an 82, a couple of 86s in there, excuse me. The highest this goes is 100 million. On Bulwark, and this is all Bulwark doing the work. This is a Bulwark build doing all the damage here on its own, and it's because it's bugged. It's not scaling properly. There's 102 million right there, 92 million right there. This is not how it's supposed to work, and this always does this. It's not like, oh, you have to like do some crazy things to make it do this sort of thing. This is just how it kind of is. So it's a pretty bad bug because people are throwing it into just about every single build they can think of. Like I've seen companion builds that are claiming that they have a good companion build, but all it is it's a Bulwark build disguised as a companion build. And because they threw some companions on and then they do this kind of damage with Bulwark. There's 102 million right there again. This is being thrown into a lot of builds to make them look stronger than they are. And as soon as the bug gets fixed, guess what? All those builds do dramatically less damage. Dramatically less. And it's going to get fixed. Anyone tells you it's not going to get fixed, they're going to be proven wrong. So if you're playing these kind of builds, you know, that's up to you. You can play these builds, like as long as Blizzard doesn't tell you you can't without, you know, being TOS or whatnot. Just know that when this gets nerfed, guess what happens to when it gets fixed, not nerfed, when it gets fixed, guess what happens to those builds? They're just not going to perform the same. This is not intended. It's not intended that they do this. There's no mechanic in the game that says that you will do more damage the higher the enemy level is. There's nothing in the game for that. There's nothing in the tooltip that tells you that. There is nothing that tells you that this should do that. Because that's not a thing. It's not supposed to be a thing. It's turning out to be a thing because there's a bug here. Okay. That's all I wanted to say on that. Just beware of Earthen Bulwark builds. Beware of any build that puts in it somewhere that some of its damage or all of its damage is coming from Earthen Bulwark. You see a companion build that says, hey, it's all companions. Also, we're getting some damage from Earthen Bulwark. It's getting most of its damage from Earthen Bulwark. Certainly at the higher Nightmare Dungeon tiers. That's what it's actually building it off of. Because companions don't do damage right now. Maybe in a few days when we get the patch, they will. But right now, they're terrible at it. And so that's an Earthen Bulwark build disguised as a companion build. All right, that's all I wanted to say on that. Hope that clears things up for people on what's going on with Bulwark.